mean, they asked him a question today, and I'm sure if you're of the type of person who just always hates the one team and loves what the other one does, they asked him a question about the crash. They said, will you visit the crash site? Now, every other politician would go, of course, it was a tragedy. And he went, it's the water.
When they don't have anything to hold you with, nothing to make you think about what they have to say, they talk at you, not.
Bill Maher is stirring the pot again, this time setting his sights on The View and what he calls their latest display of woke absurdity. Never one to hold back, the outspoken comedian didn't miss a beat when he caught wind of what he sees as contradictions and double talk from the panel. With his trademark sharp wit, Maher called out the inconsistencies live. And yes, we got all the clips to back it up. Buckle up, because this one's a wild ride. And before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more no-holds-barred commentary.
Well, I had a different question, but it struck me that in the first segment you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get
That's exactly how Trump could find his way back into the White House, because the same old woke playbook keeps getting used. Twist people's words, ignore their actual intent, and stir up chaos, all under the banner of progress. It's not about truth or open dialogue anymore. It's about controlling the narrative. They've done it to Trump time and time again, spinning every quote, every moment, into a caricature of villainy. It's automatic now, baked into how they operate. So when Bill Maher stepped into their territory, it was no surprise they tried the same tired tactic, twisting his words to corner him in a gotcha moment. But Maher didn't flinch. He fired back immediately, cutting through the spin with crystal clear precision before the narrative could be hijacked. The shift in energy was palpable. When someone dares to challenge the groupthink, the woke crowd freezes. But Maher, calm, collected, and unshaken, he stood his ground like a pro.
is a word used by the Black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words
and so
migrate.
why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice, who's not for that? But words do migrate. Now, I'll use any term you want, because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't want to call it the super far left.
Sunny Hostin came in swinging, clearly aiming to paint Bill Maher as some sort of anti-woke villain. But from the moment she started speaking, it was obvious things weren't going as planned. She rubbed her forehead, avoided Maher's gaze, and delivered her point with the uneasy tone of someone walking straight into their own trap. Hesitant, uncertain, already bracing for the backlash. You could almost see the realization hit her. Maher was about to dismantle her entire argument with effortless precision. She opened with the familiar claim that the political right had hijacked and weaponized the term woke to attack social progress. But Maher wasn't having it. Calm, sharp, and totally unfazed, he pushed back without missing a beat. He pointed out that the right didn't have to twist anything. Progressives had done that job themselves. By obsessing over language policing, cancel culture, and identity politics, the left had turned woke into a punchline, handing their critics all the ammunition they needed. And Maher? He just lit the match. Sensing the conversation slipping out of their control, the panel's next move was predictable. Call in reinforcements. Enter Whoopi Goldberg, the self-proclaimed queen of woke, to try and steady the ship.
How you be so flippant, man? Listen, nobody on the planet really wants to go through this. This is not something we're doing because it's, gratifying. This is what we're doing to protect our families. And you don't have to do it, but stay away from everybody. Because if you're the one who's not paying attention and you're coughing and sneezing, you don't want to then stay out of the public, man. This is not, nobody wants.
Whoopi Goldberg came out swinging, full of fire and drama, launching a full-blown verbal assault on Bill Maher for daring to challenge the sacred ground of The View. With all the theatrical flair she's known for, she accused him of being flippant, dismissive, and disrespectful, all for the crime of prioritizing facts over feelings. To Whoopi, Maher's refusal to stick to the progressive script felt like a personal offense. But Maher? He didn't blink. A veteran of the culture wars, he's seen this kind of outrage before, and he wasn't rattled. While Whoopi tried to frame him as tone-deaf or lacking compassion, Maher remained calm and composed, rooted in logic and clarity. He pushed back thoughtfully, pointing out the growing cultural trend of elevating emotion over truth. and how that shift is driving division rather than unity. The tension in the room was thick, but Maher didn't need to raise his voice or lean on theatrics. He let reason do the talking, and the contrast was stark. And in a twist of irony that felt almost poetic, Whoopi herself would later face suspension from The View after controversial comments about the Holocaust, showing just how quickly the lines can blur when emotion trumps understanding.
Reporting more fallout for Whoopi Goldberg. ABC News suspending Goldberg from The View for 2 weeks after she made controversial comments about Jewish people and the Holocaust on Monday's episode.
The Holocaust isn't about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
Whoopi Goldberg's remarks ignited a firestorm, sparking immediate outrage across social media and major news outlets. The backlash was swift and intense, leaving the network with little choice but to respond. She was handed a 2-week suspension, an unprecedented move that sent shockwaves through the world of daytime television. To Bill Maher's supporters, it felt like poetic justice. Just days after her heated and unprovoked tirade against him, the tables had turned. The timing seemed almost too perfect. But Maher didn't take a victory lap. Instead of gloating, he took the high road. He publicly called on the network to reinstate Whoopi, reminding everyone that free speech isn't just for the things we want to hear, it's for the tough, uncomfortable conversations too. It was a bold and gracious move that highlighted the sharp contrast between Maher's commitment to open dialogue and The View's reflexive cancel-first approach. In an era dominated by outrage culture and instant takedowns, Maher's response stood out. He showed that standing on principle means more than just scoring points. It means defending the very idea of free expression, even when it's not convenient.
Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Behind Bill Maher's composed exterior, you can imagine he was quietly amused. The irony was just too rich to ignore. The self-proclaimed hunter had become the hunted. Whoopi Goldberg, who entered their exchange confident she held the upper hand, ended up walking straight into a disaster of her own making. This wasn't just a slip-up. It was a full-blown implosion, fueled entirely by her own rhetoric. She was undone, not by Maher, but by the very outrage culture she helped champion. Her attempt to corner him backfired spectacularly, leaving her steamrolled by her own overconfidence and consumed by the kind of backlash she'd so often helped stir. Maher didn't need to fight back. He simply held his ground while her narrative collapsed under its own contradictions and smug certainty. Publicly, Maher kept it respectful, but it's hard not to imagine a knowing smirk behind the scenes. Because when you build your platform on outrage and go after people for speaking uncomfortable truths, eventually that same outrage comes full circle. And this time, it came back hungry, and it came for...
They don't have anything to hold you with, nothing to make you think about what they have to say. They talk at you, not to.
True to form, Whoopi Goldberg fired back at Bill Maher with the fiery defiance that's become her trademark. You'd think that after Maher extended a rare and gracious olive branch, publicly supporting her reinstatement and refusing to take shots while she was down, she might take a moment to reflect. But not Whoopi. If anything, she doubled down. Rather than show any sign of appreciation for Maher's level-headed response, she treated it like an invitation to escalate the feud. Gratitude, it seems, isn't just fleeting for Whoopi. It's virtually non-existent. She dismissed his defense as if it never happened and leaned even harder into the conflict, making it clear that humility isn't just unfamiliar territory for some. It's something they actively avoid. Her response served as yet another reminder that, for certain media figures, loyalty to the narrative often outweighs reason, facts, or even basic decency. Maher's civility didn't earn a moment of pause. It was met with hostility, proving once again that in today's media landscape, extending a hand can just as easily get you burnt.
Here we go.
No, we're not going anywhere.
No. Okay, but I just want to say one thing, as we were talking with Greg. Joy is a wonderful human being, and she should not be afraid that people are going to attack her because she said the thing about the on the cab.
Well,
She does not think that all, as you said to me in the break, you do not think that all the people for Trump were.
No, I don't.
You
I
don't.
I just want them to pay attention to words like vermin and poisoning the blood and the Third Reich. That's all. That's all.
Bill Maher didn't hold back when he turned to Joy Behar, urging her to stand her ground and not retreat in the face of the ever-looming woke mob. It was a subtle but powerful moment, one that peeled back the glossy surface of the View's dynamic to reveal something deeper. In encouraging Bihar to stick to her principles, Maher exposed an uncomfortable truth. Many of the hosts seem to understand just how extreme or inconsistent certain progressive talking points can be, yet they still fall in line to avoid backlash. That's where Maher struck a nerve. By directly challenging Bihar, he disrupted the performance and revealed how often the View's panelists sacrifice personal conviction for the sake of groupthink. It's not about belief, it's about self-preservation. Fear disguised as virtue. And Maher? He had no problem calling it exactly what